Hello friends, it's Jim Chancellor. Tonight I want to talk to you about PTSD and the moral injuries of war. Post-traumatic stress came to the forefront in Vietnam. Prior to Vietnam, it was battle fatigue or shell-shocked. Post 9/11, after we were horrifically attacked, PTSD still ran rapid in our heroes. But the words moral injuries started to creep into the conversation as well. A moral injury is an injury to our soul. It's something that we've done that is against the grain of our soul. We're a God-fearing country, regardless of how you believe. We know right from wrong. And when war forces us into an issue where we have to deal with things and we have to go against what we really believe in, that's a moral injury to the soul. And that knife will cut deep. I'm going to give you two examples tonight. One from a Marine in a battle in Fallujah, and the other from Vietnam when I was there in 1970. I interviewed a young Marine who told me about a firefight they had at an intersection near or by Fallujah. He said they started to receive fire from the storefronts and the sidewalks and the rooftops. He said it was a fierce battle that lasted about 45 minutes until the helicopters came. And once the gunships got there, they kind of put the fire out like they usually do. After the battle was over, the Marines went in to see the aftermath of war, the aftermath of the firefight. And what they found were women and children that had been killed. The cowards that we fought, that we fight on a daily basis, they use women and children as shields in hopes that our conscience will stop us from firing back. Now I can hear you all now say, Jim, they didn't know. They didn't know that the women and children were even there. How could they be held responsible? How could that be a moral injury to their soul? Well, perhaps they didn't know the first time. But what about the next time? What about the next time they came into an intersection and they started to receive fire? At that very second, they had to make a decision. Do I return fire, protect myself and my comrades, do my job, so to speak? Or do I not return fire? Because I know there's going to be collateral damage. I know there's going to be innocent people die if I return fire. Of course you protect your comrades. Of course you do what you have to do in war. But you'll bring that story home with you. That'll never leave you. Now I want to tell you about an incident I had in 1970. I flew with the 119th Assault Helicopter Company, and one day my friend Steve Warren and I were on a mission, and we were in a free fire zone. That's a zone where if you receive fire, you don't have to call in and get permission to return fire. A free fire zone is exactly what it sounds like. So we were on our way to a mission, and we received fire from this ville. Just a small little ville with about 6 or 7 hooches in it. So we banked. I started to return fire with my 60. And I immediately saw that I could set the hooches on fire with my tracers. So that's what I did. I set the buildings on fire, and I continued to destroy everything and everyone I could. I even took pictures of the hooches as they burned. That night when I got back to Anke and the barracks in Anke, I sat down with some old salty dogs and I told them, I said, hey, let me tell you what I did today. And I told them my story. And one looked at me and said, Chancellor, sit down for a minute and let me tell you what you really did. He said, this is what the VC do. He said 6 or 7 VC will go into a ville, a small village, just like you talked about, and they're the only ones that have weapons. They can do whatever they want. They can take whatever they want, and no one can stop them because they're the only ones that have weapons. So they wait for a helicopter to come by, like yours, and they open fire on it. After they open fire on the helicopter, as you're banking and turning and returning fire, they leave the village. So now, the only people that are left in that ville are the farmers and the husbands and the wives and the children that only wanted peace. So as I lit up the hooches and did as much carnage as I could, what I really did was destroy many, many lives that didn't want war. Did I fight the bad guys? Did I kill the enemy? No, I certainly didn't. I knew that night when the old salty dogs were talking to me. It's never left me. I'll never forget what I did. Moral injuries of war and the darkness of night, they can haunt the best of people. Until I talk to you again, I want you to be safe. I want you to be strong. And I want you to know you never, ever have to fight alone.